July 13, 2021, and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Crawley.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the July 6, 2021 general session? Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. Thank you.
First up is Court of Comment, please.
I beg your pardon. Commissioner Crawley, could you move your mic just a little bit closer to you?
Oh, it's
Thank
not on.
you. And it's not. There we go. Thank you very much. Court of Comment, please. Resolution number 53621. Resolution authorizing non-general fund appropriation adjustments for the for the Adult Probation Department.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kimberly
Good morning.
Canada, Director of Finance for the Common Pleas Court General Division. This resolution approves the transfer and supplemental appropriations request for the non-general fund community corrections grants for intensive supervision and pretrial services. These funds are provided to the Adult Probation Department from the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. This request is necessary to address final year-end purchases to complete the state fiscal year 2021 grant period. Pending any questions, we do request your approval.
If there are no comments or questions, I move that we adopt Resolution 053621.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 53621 has been adopted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a public hearing. Can the clerk please read the public hearing notice?
Thank you, Commissioner. Resolution regarding a prayer of petition to vacate a portion of Rary Road unimproved in Madison Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing for this resolution. Is there anyone here in the audience, in person or online, who would like to speak on this public hearing? We don't have any speaker slips, and seeing that there are none, I'd like to close the public hearing and have the clerk read the resolution into the record.
Resolution number 53721, prayer of petition to vacate a portion of Rary Road unimproved in Madison Township, Franklin County, Ohio, granted.
Good morning, Commissioners,
Morning.
Administration, staff, and constituents. My name is Cornell Robertson, honored to serve as your Franklin County Engineer and Franklin County Drainage Engineer. Commissioner Crawley, congratulations and welcome to the Franklin County family. I look forward to working with you on roads, bridges, and infrastructure for multiple modes of transportation. At the Franklin County Engineer's Office, we strive to assist the public by being approachable and open-minded to their needs and helping them get the answers they seek. We are an agency of action, innovation, and collaboration, and we certainly appreciate the collaboration with the Board of Commissioners. I like to refer to it as the Franklin County way. All right, so this first resolution is a right-of-way vacation in the southeast part of the county in Madison Township for a portion of unimproved Rary Road east of Pontius Road, west of Braun Road, and south of Hayes Road. This resolution is the third in a series of 3 to vacate the right-of-way. Madison Township Board of Trustees filed the petition, and we have not heard from anyone who is against it. If not already, I will make sure the plat is delivered to Clerk Hendenlang to route to you all to sign. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
If there are no comments or questions, I move to adopt Resolution 053721.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 53721 has been adopted. Resolution number 53821, establishing, altering, and widening of the Hot Ditch Drainage Improvement Project from No Bixby Road to an outlet west of Portman Road, Madison Township, Franklin County, Ohio, declared necessary.
This drainage improvement project is in the southeast part of the county in Madison Township along Hot Ditch from No Bixby Road to an outlet west of Portman Road. Under our jurisdiction, the drainage engineer has 94 miles of open channels and 147 miles of tiled ditches. Many of those tiles were built over 100 years ago with pipes designed to last only 50 years. With support from the Board of Commissioners, our stormwater management program has become more proactive and less reactive, which is being noticed and appreciated by our constituents and farming community. However, there is much more work to be caught up. Hot Ditch is an existing ditch petition, updated in the 1950s, crosses multiple jurisdictions, and needs to be improved. It was not recently repetitioned, as we've seen for other watersheds here lately. With approximately 2,500 property owners in the watershed, it simply is not a good candidate for the ditch petition process. Instead, this drainage project is one that we have identified as needing attention sooner rather than later, and I propose that it be a collaborative project including the City of Columbus. This resolution is the first in a series of 2 to declare the project necessary. Pending any questions, I request your approval.
Thank you. If there are no comments or questions, I move to adopt Resolution 53821.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Resolution number 53821 has been adopted. Resolution number 53921, authorization for the Franklin County Engineer to enter into an agreement with the City of Hilliard for the cleaning and clearing of Hamilton Ditch, City of Hilliard, Brown Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
This drainage improvement project is in the northwest part of the county in Brown Township and the City of Hilliard for the cleaning and clearing of Hamilton Ditch that flows from north to south, west of, and parallel to Alton and Darby Creek Road. This work will be performed under the engineer's general drainage maintenance and repair program and was included as work to be performed in the recently approved construction change order with J&J Schlegel. This resolution is an intergovernmental agreement which will allow the engineer's office to administer the work and Hilliard to reimburse our office for the cost of the work. I respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
I do have a question. That's okay. Engineer, so I'm not sure I recall ever seeing a cleaning and clearing of a ditch resolution. Is this normal? Is this something we do regularly, or is this something unique?
This would be a common one of the various functions that we perform through the drainage engineer's office. It may not have specifically been labeled as a clearing and cleaning and clearing, but it is a very common function for the maintenance we provide.
And what are the costs to a cleaning and clearing of a ditch? And typically, we cover that cost?
This particular project is going to be a little over $110,000, and the City of Hilliard is going to reimburse us for the majority of that cost. I believe $100,000. And so this is, I think it's a common unit price for this amount of work. And so again, it's strictly maintenance and to return the flow of that ditch as it was designed 4 years ago.
Sure. Okay. All right, thank you.
If there are no additional questions, I move to adopt Resolution 53921.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 53921 has been adopted. Resolution number 54021, Resource International Incorporated, consulting engineers appointed to assist the Franklin County Engineer by providing engineering services for the Alton and Darby Creek Road over Clover Groff Run, PRA C0272.188, Improvement Project, Prairie Township, Franklin County, Ohio, in the amount of $199,196.
This bridge replacement project is in the northwest part of the county in Prairie Township along Alton and Darby Creek Road over Clover Groff Run. This resolution is for a design contract with Resource International, and we use the qualifications-based selection process. Resource International is a certified DBE, FBE, and EDGE firm. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. If there are no comments or questions, I move that we adopt Resolution 54021.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 54021 has been adopted. Resolution number 54121, approval of the Farms at Jefferson Phase 7 subdivision plat, Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
President Boyce, this resolution and the next one are so similar that I can probably present them both. In the interest of time, then you could still vote on them separately. Does that sound okay?
Yep, sounds fine.
This particular resolution is for the Farms at Jefferson Phase 7, and the next resolution is for Phase 8. Both subdivisions are in the northeast part of the county in Jefferson Township along Clark State Road between Babbitt Road and Dixon Road. Phase 7 includes 35 lots on 19.8 acres, and Phase 8 includes 55 lots on 20.4 acres. With these resolutions, I am asking you to approve and sign the final plat for each subdivision, which will allow the developer, In My Homes, to sell lots and start building houses. If not already, I will see that the plats are delivered to Clerk Hindenlang for you all to sign. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution and approval of the next one as well.
Mr. Engineer, I'm just curious. So why do two resolutions if it's the same subdivision in the same development?
Because they were broken out years ago into separate phases.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is common, but coincidentally, both phases are ready for the same legislative action.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a question. Well, he took my first question. Thank you, President Boyce. My other question is, since these two are the ones that are ready now, are just for my own information, are there any additional phases that will come later? But these are just the ones that are ready now.
That's correct. This is a very large multi-phase subdivision. Other phases have been completed and others still to come. I'm not quite sure how many total phases we have.
Okay, thank you. Any
You're
other
welcome.
additional questions? If not, I move to adopt Resolution 541-21.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 54121 has been adopted.
And then I would move to adopt Resolution 542-21.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 54221 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Thank
too.
you, you too.
Next, Treasurer.
Resolution number 54321, resolution authorizing an extension contract with U.S. Bank for banking services provided to the Franklin County Treasurer's Office in the amount of $50,000.
Good morning, Commissioners, and welcome to Commissioner Crawley. Franklin County Treasurer's Office entered into a contract with U.S. Bank for banking services. The term of the initial contract was for a period of 3 years with the option to extend for 2 additional one-year period. U.S. Bank has provided daily depository service activities as required under the initial contract period in a satisfactory manner. Both the Franklin County Treasurer and U.S. Bank wish to extend the contract for the first of 2 extension periods. The term of the contract extension will be for a 6-month period from June 30th, 2021 to January 1st, 2021. Pending any questions you commissioners may have, the Treasurer's Office recommends the contract extension with U.S. Bank for daily depository services be approved.
Thank you. If there are no questions or comments, I move to adopt Resolution 54321.
Pardon me. I wanted to ask the prosecutor a question. Did we analyze this resolution for any? No. Let's take a little quick break. Let me just take a quick look at that resolution because I don't call this. And I'm going to have to ask the clerk for a pause real quick, but my OneDrive is not pulling up today's legislation too. So
Did you want? Here's the
yeah,
resolution.
good. Mr. Reese, I'm sorry, we're gonna, and it's not anything, on your end, it's really on our end. And, if there's not an issue, I'm gonna ask if we could table this until Commissioner O'Grady is, present with us. Does that create an issue for you?
We are up against a deadline to extend this contract. We're a little bit past it because of the holiday already.
It would be a week, but we've gotta cross our Ts and dot our Is on this one, unfortunately.
Understood.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions for me?
No, it's not an issue with you. It's on this end.
Okay. All right.
The proper motion would be a motion to postpone to next Tuesday.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move to postpone Resolution 54321 to our next meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce. Commissioner, you can.
I want to make sure, can I vote to abstain, or do I vote to abstain, or just yes to postpone?
You can vote to postpone.
Okay, yes.
Understand.
Thank you, Commissioners. Resolution number 54321 has been postponed until the July 20th general session meeting. Mr. Reese, I'll follow up with your office after session today.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you. Next, Franklin County Data Center.
Resolution number 54421. Resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding by and between the Franklin County Data Center and the Franklin County Convention Facility Authority for Internet services at the Greater Columbus Convention Center.
With the Franklin County Data Center. This resolution is for an MOU with the Franklin County Convention Facility Authority for facilities internet services to be provided at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. During the COVID 2019 pandemic, the Convention Center went under a capital improvement that supplied the facility with 10 gigabytes per second internet fiber. This would have been utilized if the center was used as an emergency hospital during the pandemic. Utilizing this infrastructure, this agreement will allow the Ohio Academic Resource Network, also known as ORNET, to provide services through the data center to the convention center. The increased internet capacity should result in events that would have gone elsewhere, utilizing the Greater Columbus Convention Center and coming to Franklin County. Pending any questions, we do request your approval of this resolution.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, I move to adopt Resolution 54421.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 54421 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next, Economic Development and Planning.
Resolution number 54521, review of petition to annex 1.465 acres more or less from Mifflin Township to the City of Gahanna, case number ANX-25-21.
Morning, Commissioner Crawley, Commissioner Boyce, Jim Schimmer. I'm the Director of Economic Development and Planning. We have two items that we will go through this morning. I'm going to ask that Assistant Director Jenny Snap take you through the two annexations that we have, and I'll follow up with the last item.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Jenny Snap, Assistant Director, Economic Development and Planning. This resolution is to consider an expedited Type 2 annexation petition of 1.465 acres from Mifflin Township to the City of Gahanna. The area to be annexed includes property located at Codet Road, which is south of Codet Road, east of I-270, north of US Route 62, and west of North Stigler Road. The petition was filed by owners Johnny Torres Guzman and Emilia Fuentes, who are in attendance should you have any questions on behalf of themselves. 52% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with the City of Gahanna, and the city passed resolution number RES-0016-2021 on June 21st, 2021, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved and a statement regarding incompatible land uses and the zoning buffer. The petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code And pending any questions, we request approval of this resolution.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions for this resolution? Seeing none, I move to adopt Resolution 54521.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 54521 has been adopted. Resolution number 54621, resolution to adjust the boundaries of the City of Columbus and the City of Reynoldsburg, case number ANX-28-21.
This resolution is to consider a boundary adjustment of 3.9 acres from the City of Columbus to the City of Reynoldsburg. This petition was filed by both the City of Columbus and the City of Reynoldsburg to adjust 3.9 acres of property located at 2440 Bryce Road, 2444 Bryce Road, one parcel at Bryce Road, and Bryce Road right-of-way from Livingston Avenue to just north of Interstate 70. All of those parcels are east of Bryce Road, south of Livingston Avenue, west of Birchview Drive and Blacklick Woods Metro Park, and north of Interstate 70. This resolution will adjust the boundaries between the two jurisdictions in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 709.37. The City of Columbus passed ordinance number 1369-2021 on June 14, 2021, agreeing to transfer 3.9 acres to the City of Reynoldsburg. And the City of Reynoldsburg passed ordinance number 88-19 on September 9, 2019, agreeing to accept the transfer of land from the City of Columbus. Both ordinances were certified by the Franklin County Commissioners for further proceedings in accordance with ORC 709.37. The petitioning municipalities have met all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.37 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, staff requests your approval of this petition.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions? Seeing none, I move to adopt Resolution 54621.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 54621 has been adopted. Resolution number 54721, resolution authorizing the Board of Franklin County Commissioners to sign the attached discharge of mortgage instrument for Zephyr Zerahan at 458 Scandia Street, Black Lake, Ohio, 43004.
Commissioners, Commissioner Crawley, I thought I'd just take a second out here just to explain this because you will see these from time to time. Economic Development and Planning processes lien release and subordination requests from individuals who have participated in a couple of, actually 3 programs that we have. We do loans under the MORPC Urgent Home Repair, Home Ports Down Payment Assistance Program, and water quality partnerships where we assist individuals in getting hooked up to water systems in the county. The discharges of mortgages are presented for approval to the commissioners so long as they meet the requirements that have been met and all the property taxes are paid and current. The Economic Development and Planning will present these to you frequently just to make sure that we're not holding anybody's mortgages up if they are going out and buying a property, for example. The lien release needs to be off the tax duplicate. So at any rate, I want to mention this to you, so I would ask for your approval. As I said, you'll see more of these as time goes on, but I just thought I'd take the moment out to explain that to you here this morning. So I would ask for approval of this resolution.
Well, thank you, Jim, for that explanation. If there are no comments or questions, I move to adopt Resolution 54721.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 54721 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Jobs and Family Services.
Resolution number 54821, resolution authorizing the Franklin County Job and Family Services Director to authorize and execute inter-county adjustment agreements of allocated funds on behalf of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners.
Good morning, Commissioners. Vivian Turner, Assistant Director. The state formula used to allocate federal funds to counties is based off of census data and does not allow counties to request adjustments. However, a state law passed in 2013 allows counties to trade unused funds from one area for funds in another area where there is additional need, such as our Food Assistance Employment and Training Program. In 2019, you approved a similar resolution that allowed the director to authorize and execute inter-county adjustments agreements with other counties on behalf of through the end of this state fiscal year. This resolution will extend the director's authority through July 18, 2023, the term of our current sub-grant agreement to receive federal funds for state fiscal year 2022 and 2023, which you approved in June. We will continue to provide a summary of any proposed adjustments to the county administrator prior to submittal to the state, and we will provide a quarterly report of all approved transfers to you, commissioners. JFS CFO Christy Russell has joined me today to answer any questions you may have, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
Christy is on, Vivian. If we could, just for the public, I don't know if you all may remember this, commissioners, when we do these inter-county government exchanges, it really assists our general fund. We've done so many in the past, in 1 year, that we didn't use the allocated dollars that you had designated for the agency. Many times, Commissioner Crawley, as you may know, there are different pots of money, basically. So when one county doesn't use their pot of money, then it allows us to say, hey, can we need those dollars, and we can, exchange these pots of money that may be more beneficial to your county. And those exchanges have been very beneficial, not only to Franklin County, but to other counties around the state.
Thank you.
My question would be, so but this resolution is essentially authorizing the continued
Yes.
Exchange as opposed to an actual
Yes.
exchange. And when an actual exchange comes, you'll bring that before the board as well.
I will brief you on it,
Sure.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is because I believe the exchange requires a resolution too itself, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right.
Any other comments or
No.
questions? All right.
Ms. Russell, you are muted.
This is
You're trying
Christy
to-
Russell. This is Christy Russell, Assistant Director, Chief Financial Officer. I just want to clarify, Commissioner Boyce, on your question, the individual exchanges will not require a resolution to be brought before the board. Because of timing of a lot of the transfers, that is why this resolution is presented and why we did it 2 years ago for the last 2 state fiscal years, so that the transfers can happen when we get down to the final week or two of some of the grants. And so a resolution would not be required to do the individual transfers, but we would provide you the information.
Right.
But a resolution would not need to come before the board because of this resolution that delegates the authority.
Sure. Thank you for that clarification. I got to tell you, I mean, I think I've been pretty consistent about, I'm not a fan of the abdication of authority when it comes to that kind of thing. So I do want to say, while I know this has been a helpful resource for Franklin County, and when you got a complex county and financial structure that Franklin County has, just makes sense. But I do want to say, I want to be briefed as those exchanges occur. I want to know before they happen, and I want to make sure we're, and I'm really speaking on behalf of the BOC, that we should be briefed and there should be some kind of sign-off process.
So there is, Commissioner,
yeah.
just so you know. So
Okay.
The rest, what I was thinking of, Christy and I apologize, what I was thinking of, when we do these, Christy, as you know, we go to our county administrator, letting him know that we're gonna do them before we do them. I get an approval from him, and depending upon relying upon he's having a briefing with each and every one of you every day, I'm sure, in order to move forward with those approvals.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. That's why I want to be on the record as to, I want to make sure I get briefed as those come forward, because I recall in the past, when we've exchanged them, and maybe I just don't remember very well. I thought there was resolutions, but if we've gotten away from doing a resolution per exchange, which that would make sense, but I want to have a handle on any financial exchanges that we're having with other counties. It makes sense for lots of different reasons. And so I just want to be on the record to say I want to be briefed as those come forward. And in fact, I'd like to make a request to, and maybe you could do a summary of the last several exchanges in case I just don't recall them or being briefed on those. But I'd like to see what those were.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank
And
you.
Commissioner, we'll make sure we convey your wishes to the county administrator when he returns.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Well, I do have one, and it's just a question. In the past, and so you're asking Commissioner Boyce for the past exchanges for, how does that normally, how the exchange even come about? Or is there a request that's made? And even if, and maybe I could just wait until we get the briefing document so I can see how it normally transpires, since I'm not familiar and there isn't a resolution, but just how the exchange is even, how that
We can set up a briefing for you, Commissioner, on how the agency, how those arise within the agency. There's certain parts of the times of the year when you're allowed to do those and make those requests. Christy stays really on top of it, so we can do a briefing for you on the side.
Yeah, and is there a time frame from when the exchange, or, when it comes before you all, or you say something to the administrator that the funds need to be exchanged? Is there like 30 days, 60 days, or something like that? So,
Christy, I'm gonna let you talk about because I don't remember the 2 times of the year. I think it's 2 times of the year, right?
Well, that's what goes through the state that doesn't require this resolution. So there's a reallocation process that the state provides us, and I think it's increased. It used to be like twice a year. I think it's 3 or 4 times a year, but it's different funding sources during those. And those do not require the resolution that this is authorizing. This resolution is authorizing county to county trades and transfers, not the ones that are the global requests that the state issues to all counties on who needs additional funds, who wants to release funds. This resolution is targeted specifically to county transfers, or so the process is typically us reaching out to other counties, finding out counties who have the dollars that we're looking for, and it's just a one-on-one transfer. So there is no necessarily set timing, but a lot of times it's at the end of the fiscal year when we really find out what our needs are and what funding we have available. So the turnaround time typically could be down to the wire of a few days before the month or the quarter closes and when the funds grant. Sometimes we have more advance notice, but when we're really getting down to finalizing financials, it is sometimes a quick turnaround. And so the process really is us working with other counties and finding counties that have the dollars. And then the transfers are submitted through the state system, CFIS, if anybody's familiar with that system.
thank you.
Yeah, I just add, I'm pretty sure I was in the legislature when we did this resolution, and I remember the idea was, if I recall, was that you did your fiscal year, and you'd have these counties like Franklin, because so much of these funds have so many restrictions on them. Counties like Franklin, we could end up with a whole fund worth of money that we had a tough time spending because of the restrictions. And so I remember this is how it was testified, if I recall. And so there's a lot of logic in what Franklin County may not be able to use, Montgomery County may have a very simple time using, and vice versa. And so we can exchange those funds. That makes sense. I'm just living in this world of, as commissioners, we have a responsibility for the prudent management of resources, and I think a requirement when we're exchanging those funds to know what's being exchanged is important as part of that prudency, that we are understanding where perhaps there are restrictions for Franklin County, or where, we can improve services, or maybe there's an area that we need more resources for. And I think that equips us better as commissioners to lead and make decisions. And I'm just, there's, you know, I think that the Franklin County leadership that we have today is phenomenal. We've got an outstanding administrator, and then the team is all wonderful. But I've been doing this job long enough to know that over the years, people change. Like, people come and go, you know, and it just takes one person that doesn't understand that idea of who's responsible for what, that gets, you know, on a different pathway. And so I don't like to abdicate any kind of authority as a commissioner. That today's team is great. I trust this group 100%. But I don't like to not be able to see those exchanges. And so I'm thinking about a requirement for an annual report here that just makes sense for us, because when we do the budget, we can kind of see it. But to be honest with you, when the budget is coming, as a commissioner, you're getting so many numbers are being thrown at you, you know. And as a finance person, I'm very sensitive to that you know, that's not how you analyze financial matters. You know, you don't do it in that sort of, you take them piece by piece, and you have to zero in on that particular aspect of the budget, and then you move on. But when you're drinking from a fire hose during budget process, it's hard to overlook. I mean, it's easy to overlook, you know, what funds may have had carryovers, what funds, you know, may have been in deficit, or just whatever. And so, and that's the kind of thing that I want to know. And I think it's healthy to know as we make decisions. You all will be able to, what you advise, we're always at the mercy of the information you all provide us. So, you know, we'll always be able to, we'll work with you on that. But I just think there's something about not knowing what that exchange is that bothers me. And so, while I'm not going to do it right now, I'd like to see the report, and then let's revisit through our
Right.
briefing just this conversation about an annual sort of update on what the exchanges are.
And Commissioner, I would like to request Christy Russell, our CFO. Christy, as we're developing that report, I would ask that there would be a description of each funding source and
Absolutely.
what
That'd be great.
the details of the restrictions and the allotments and all of that, so that the commissioners are well briefed on what we can and what we cannot do. And if there is a pot of money that we cannot utilize, that we never normally utilize, why we never normally utilize those dollars, as well as the history of the amounts that we've been given.
And Commissioners, if I may just add, the resolution stipulates that the report is actually done on a quarterly basis, but that is after the fact, so that will confide by the rules of by the regulations associated with the resolution. But I think what I'm hearing is you'd like to know about those exchanges in advance, and
Right.
so
With the
we'll
description.
communicate that to Ken. Yeah.
With the description of the funding sources.
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear. So you're saying that in the resolution, it has a quarterly requirement of post-reporting?
The resolution says that JFS shall provide a report with a summary of the adjustments to the county administrator and the Board of Commissioners on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, I think it's important to, because I haven't seen that. So if that's been the standing requirement, I've not gotten that. And now my office may have received it. It's very possible that I just overlooked it in the stack of million things that was given to me, but every day. But I don't recall getting those reports, and I know the exchange happens. So I don't know, what can we do to ensure that's being communicated? And again, Vivian, I want you to feel like this is like something directed at you, or even JFS for that
Right.
matter. You're all good. I trust you, everybody, 100%. But this is on my own sort of financial mind, sort of working that and again, remember, at the end of the day, it's the three commissioners that have the sort of liability around what actions we take. And so
Absolutely.
I just take that part very sensitively and seriously, and think there should be some form of formal communication on that.
President Boyce, Commissioner Crowley, I think you have to make a decision of whether or not you want a pre-report or a post-report. I think that's critical to understand. I think right now, the way the resolution is written, it is a post-report. And I think if you want to deal with, and I think it's important that we understand from the deputy administrator the effects of having a pre-report could have on the exchange.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to slow down because I understand those windows can be tight because embedded in the restrictions that are often on those funds are deadlines for usage. And so I want to be sensitive to that. But I think some type of, there has to be some time when the county receives this request and it's processed, there's an opportunity for the commissioners to be knowledgeable about what those funds are.
Right.
And it just needs to be worked into that part of the process.
And we do a fiscal update for the county administrator every month. Maybe we can go back, Christy, and look at whatever our process is so that there is something that you're made aware of. Maybe we're not calling it a report. Maybe as in real time, there's something that we can do and add another step to that. But I'll go back with the team and figure out what that looks like.
Yeah.
So if I could just add, I was going to ask for clarification because, one, I would like to see, I second what Commissioner Boyce said. I'm not trying to slow down the process, but I would like to know what the request is before there's a transfer. And then at the end, I get on the quarterly basis, it does say that. But I thought the commissioner was asking, like, at the end of the year prior to budgets being approved, a reconciliation of the funds and the transfers. Is that where you were asking for a reconciliation? Okay. So yeah, two separate things. I would like to see something ahead of time before there is an exchange. But then also, I guess something on a quarterly basis, but then, and I guess we'll see that budget reconciliation.
Here's what I would propose is, I mean, we're definitely, I'm supportive of this resolution right now, but I do want to make the adjustment. And we don't necessarily have to do it now.
Right.
But I want to make it, and I want to make sure that we come back to this and make that adjustment for a more formal deliverance of what those transfers are. And so maybe it's simply maybe it's simply changing it from this quarterly report to also a notice of that exchange as soon as the county is informed, that the commissioners are briefed or knowledgeable. And the briefing can be a phone call. It can be a write-up. It can be, just needs to be communicated. And I don't, I know they said this has happened in the past. I don't recall that. We don't have to adjust the resolution now necessarily.
I don't think you have to adjust the resolution right now, but one idea that we can work with is maybe on the agenda calendar, adding for a briefing session, having quarterly that sort of discussion that occurs. So it's not with a resolution in front of you, but rather an update from the Deputy Administrator Bivens regarding this. So it's just layered into the agenda so that you know that this has happened, this is what's going on, and if you have questions, it can occur at that briefing session.
Commissioners, County Administration will work with the department and sort of walk through Christie's process and figure out the best way to recommend how we inform you in advance. We'll bring that forward to you, so we make sure you have that information.
All right, if there are no additional comments or questions on this resolution, I move that we adopt Resolution 54821.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Crawley.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Resolution number 54821 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, and we look forward to working with you on the adjustments noted.
Thank
Have
you.
a great Tuesday.
You too. Human Resources.
Resolution number 54921, resolution authorizing a contract modification with Ohio Health Corporation for continued provision of wellness services for the Franklin County Cooperative Health Improvement Program in the amount of $1,172,590.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Jody Leese, Assistant Director of Franklin County Human Resources over Employee Benefits and Wellness. The Franklin County Cooperative partners with Ohio Health to provide many of the programs and some resources available through Thrive On, our wellness program. And this includes virtual services like access to the wellness portal, health coaching, and the quarterly challenges, as well as what I call boots on the ground programming, which are things like on-site biometric screening events, vaccination clinics, and other offerings like cooking demonstrations. 2021 is our third year with Ohio Health, and each year, based upon our experience from prior years, we tweak programming a little bit, and this modification is doing just that. It's tweaking some of the programs, costs, and performance guarantees for program year number 3. So whenever we tweak programs, that typically involves performance guarantees adjustments as well. So we are adjusting performance guarantees for Ohio Health as included in this contract modification. Also, the cost of the programs and services offered remains the same. However, when we mix up those programs and services and change what we offer, that ultimately adjusts the annual cost. And that's the case here. And there's about a $100,000 reduction in cost for program year 3 as a result of some of those changes. Also included in this contract mod is a new program called Mequilibrium, or we call it MEQ for short. MEQ is a self-paced digital program that helps our members better handle stress and understand and build their resiliency. So through daily touch points, members are taught how to adopt new skills and build greater resiliency, reduce stress, and improve their mindfulness. So as a member, or as you would work your way through a MEQ module, you get badges and awards, and it kind of keeps you coming back. You get daily reminders to gauge, to track what your mood is, or how focused, or what your motivation is for the day, or the stress level. And our cooperative members can also earn incentives through the Thrive On program for completing MEQ modules. Now, before I wrap up, I just did want to mention, I did mention that Ohio Health offers boots on the ground service, which includes our vaccination clinics. And I did want to announce that there are 2 upcoming COVID vaccination clinics here on site on July 20th and August 10th. They will both be held in the Judicial Services Building, or JSB, in Meeting Room A from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Anyone is welcome, public or cooperative or Franklin County or whoever employs and their dependents. And both Pfizer and J&J vaccinations will be available. No appointment is necessary. You can walk in and get your vaccination. So all of that, pending any questions, I request approval of this resolution.
Hey, just one quick question. Are we doing the 5K this year, or do we already do like a virtual 5K? What's the status there?
So 2019 was our first year. We did an in-person. Last year in 2020, for obvious reasons, we did a virtual. This year, we're doing a hybrid. We had such great participation as a virtual event that we didn't want to lose that. And, we're capped at 500 participants at Wolf Park. So I will be bringing a resolution for a contract with Columbus Running Company next week to kind of secure their services for the 5K. I believe October 13th is the date, but don't quote me on that. But we will be offering both an in-person and a virtual race this year.
Great. I'm going to plan on doing the in-person race, and maybe I'll get Commissioner Crawley to join me out there. She was trying to look away and not make eye contact with me when I was talking this. And Deputy Administrator Janice said that your prompt in the background worked. Your mind prompt in the background worked to get me to ask that question. He was right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think that health and wellness are important parts of life. And when you incorporate that into the workplace, as we have, and I think we do a tremendous job of incorporating health and wellness in our regular infrastructure of health, but it's participation that makes all the difference. And I do recall in 2019, and it was just a fun and fabulous day for Franklin County folks to get out and exercise, whether you walk, ran, or did a little bit of both. It's a healthy day and a healthy experience, and so I'm really looking forward to it. And I know if oh my gosh, from engineering. He was-
Fritz.
Fritz, yeah, Fritz. Courage, if he's listening right now, I'm coming for you this year, dude. Coming for you. So, and I know Darla Reardon's son too. He's probably coming for me. That he's a serious runner there. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be a great event. And I just want to encourage all of our Franklin County family members to pencil in October 13th and come out and join us if you can, if you're up to it.
I will be cheering
Thank you.
everyone on from the.
We're looking forward to that as well.
Well, thank you so much for that. If there are no additional comments or questions, I move to adopt resolution 54921.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 54921 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Purchasing.
Resolution number 55021, resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $1,694,830.55.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry, Balanier, Director of Purchasing, presenting this morning with Marlise Wicker, Economic Equity Administrator in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Commissioners, this resolution requests your approval of 81 purchase orders for which the County Auditor has pre-certified available funding. And Marlise will provide data related to POs awarded to SEBEs. Marlise?
Good morning, Commissioners. This week we have for your consideration 9 out of 19 eligible purchase orders presented to 4 women business enterprise, 1 disadvantaged business enterprise, 3 small and emerging business enterprise, and 1 minority business enterprise, totaling $306,057.94, which equates to 47% of the eligible PO value and 83% of the eligible PO dollar value. The following agencies have increased supplier diversity of goods and services within Franklin County: the Data Center, Treasurer's Office, Clerk of Courts, Coroner's Office, and Sheriff.
Commissioners, pending any questions, we respectfully request your approval of this resolution.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Comments? Seeing none, I move to adopt resolution 55021.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Resolution number 55021 has been adopted.
Great. That
Thank
concludes-
you.
Thank you.
Have a
That
great
concludes
day.
the regular agenda. Are there any generalizations?
I have one this morning, Commissioner, from Commissioner Crawley. While conducting an in-depth review of the committees that the Commissioner makes appointments to, Commissioner Crawley has affirmed the remaining appointments of former Commissioner Don Tyler Lee, dated May 27th, 2021. All appointments will be assessed for affirmation or reappointment on an ongoing basis. The updated 2021 Board of Commissioners Committee assignments listing will be made available to all interested parties and filed with today's meeting minutes for reference.
Outstanding. Thank you. Are there any members of the media who have any questions? Or all right, seeing that there are none, before I conclude the meeting, I do want to point out that I believe we just made history today in that this is the first Franklin County Board of Commissioners meeting ever conducted that was led by 2 African Americans. With Commissioner Grady being absent today, that puts Commissioner Crawley and I solely at the helm, and that's never happened before because I know it because this is only the first time in history we've had 2 African American commissioners. So I thought that just was a neat point to point out, and I think it really just says a lot about how Central Ohio and Franklin County is growing because just 5 years ago there had never been an African American commissioner in the history of Franklin County. Today, the majority of the Board of Commissioners is African American, and we have our first African American woman as a commissioner. And I think it's just always important to reflect on that moment in those times in history that it's not insignificant. And so I just want to point that out today. So we're all part of history today. So anyways.
Well, thank you for highlighting history. That is great. But I also want to recognize Deputy Administrator Bivens, and we just came back from the NACO conference, and so would love to brag on her and the Family Stabilization Unit for the award that they won. And I really would like for her, I'm sorry, putting you on the spot, to brag on yourself and the team and the work that you all have done and the recognition that was so well deserved that we all received, but due to you and the work that you've done.
Thank you, Commissioner. I will be brief because I do not brag on myself because it's one of those things, but I do appreciate, a year ago, right before, like days before George Floyd, I believe, I called our commissioners, I called the commissioners and said, hey, I know you all been pressing me to do something different as it relates to my brother's keeper because it needed to be revamped. And Commissioner Boyce particularly kept saying, that's not it, Joy. Go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board. So what we did was we looked at things from the perspective of the poverty blueprint and looking at it from a racial equity lens. And in that people's plan that we call the poverty blueprint, the community said there are too many silos and too much for us to navigate. We're infused in your systems, but it's so difficult for us to stay on hold somewhere and then jump to another building to access the new services that we needed. So we said, okay, let's look at some of the data. The data showed us that minorities make up the smallest amount of the population, however, the highest amount of those interfacing with the juvenile justice system. So we partnered with the juvenile justice system, developed this integrated health and human services roundtable. Not just health and human services, but our higher education institutions are sitting at that table, as well as some businesses, and our Fortune 500 companies now are engaged. And what they do basically is this: when a young person interfaces, whether it's truancy or diversion, meaning they threw a rock and broke someone's window, whether it's with their grandmother, their aunt, whoever walks into that building with them, this team wraps around that family, and not just those who walked into the building, but the entire household. They go out to the household, and they did that during COVID. They had on PPE equipment for everyone's like, oh gosh, they had on equipment. They walk into the household because we believe the environment contributes to a lot of what we're seeing as it relates to our young people. And whether there are three siblings, cousins, uncle in the basement, they develop a relationship with that entire household to figure out what do you need in order to be stabilized and how can we assist you. Whether it's going through a credential, getting a new job, getting young people engaged in positive activities, or some of our core benefits. And they follow these families for a year by providing, and we also, for the first time in county history, this is the first time we've collaborated in this way and being intentional about looking at things from a racial equity lens. Because when you look at that data, whether it's 20 years, 30 years, 100 years, it's the same demographic and the same of people that have the highest number of interfacing with our juvenile justice system. So we submitted that, and I'm kind of abbreviating it. We look at the policies and everything involved in working with the school systems as well. So we submitted that as a opportunity to our National Association of Counties. This is the first time Franklin County actually has ever won a best in category for health and human services. I believe it's the first time ever won a best in category. This weekend they received a best in category for health and human services. We've had several of our counties from around the country who have asked us to assist them in developing the same methodology based on their data as well. So no contribute to me. That is the vision of our county commissioners and our county administrator who continue to, I think, push each and every one of us to think innovatively and outside the box.
It was my first NACO conference. I want to keep saying concert. It was not a concert, even though, but it was a great conference. I was happy to be able to go with everyone and definitely be a part of that recognition. And so as, the saying here is every resident, every day, that is making sure that every resident has the ability to thrive and not just survive. Mm-hmm. And so that is that work. And so great to have that recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
The only thing I would add, though, about the Family Stabilization Unit is what makes it unique is, and I think you said it embedded in your comments, but what makes it unique, and I remember talking to some of the NACO folks about it when what was called about it, is it treats each family as differently as we are individuals. Whatever the need for that family is, we try to zero in on that need. And sometimes they're very non-traditional responses and things that are sort of one-off in how we as government would traditionally approach something. And I don't want to throw out any examples, but that's the type of innovation that is meaningful to a family. And I know this personally. And so the recognition was grateful. I'm grateful for the recognition, but it's the outcomes that I think are more important and more impactful that I'm more grateful for. And I know of a few families that have already crossed with our system and we've supported in this way. So, and we've got some things to come, that I'm really excited about that we've been working on around benefits cliff and some of our single moms and different things with technology that I believe will be award-winning. We'll be back on that stage next year. So I'm excited about it. Congratulations. Job well done to the team over at JFS. All right. That concludes our meeting. If there are no further comments. All right. Thank you. Everyone have a great week.
Thank you, everyone.
I meant to bring my gavel.